expensive. When Park and Ride works, it does cut city centre congestion, but it doesn't cut the total amount of traffic. It simply moves the problem to somewhere else. Paul Clifton, BBC South Today, Salisbury.
The King's Theatre in Southsea is to be sold for just £1. The historic Edwardian site has been saved, for now, from being turned into a pub. Its owners, Hampshire County Council, have decided to seek a buyer from the theatrical world after thousands of people objected to plans to close it as a working theatre. Stuart Norval explains.
3, 5, 4, 5.
Just one of the thousands of shows to have graced the stage at the King's Theatre. Built in 1907, it is beautiful inside, and local people are passionate about it.
It's a Grade 2 star listed theatre, and it's one of the top 3, I believe, in the country. It's an unspoilt theatre, and it's so beautiful.
Today, the owners, Hampshire County Council, met to decide its fate. They could have sold to a pub chain, but 24,000 people signed a petition and almost 2,000 wrote directly to oppose any loss of theatre in Portsmouth. But the County Council wants no more of it. It doesn't even represent the people of Portsmouth anymore, after the area became a unitary authority. In the end, they opted to virtually give it away to any group which has a good enough business plan and will run it as a theatre.
I believe it right to go another last mile so that we can finally decide whether there is a theatrical future for King's Theatre.
So relief for the campaigners who will now fight on to ensure the curtain doesn't come down forever. Stuart Norval, BBC South Today, Portsmouth.
And that really is a lovely old building. On to Southern Ways now, and Thomas Hardy's legacy is a body of work which evokes the spirit of a Dorset and a people now long gone.
For her final report on the poetry that defines the county, Claire Cottam brings things up to date as she meets 2 of Dorset's new young poets who are keeping the art alive.
I would like to be a brushstroke in a painting by Monet, resting upon other brushstrokes in the autumn fields, resting in this everlasting fantasy.
I'd feel the warmth of the painted sun outside the binding frame, perfectly placed, lovingly created.
So David, that poem was written by you. What got you interested in writing poetry?
Well, I learned English as my second language. I started when I was 10, and I had to pretty much do like a general syllabus thing when I was doing that, and part of it was about like poetry and literature and stuff like that, and I just kind of carried on from there.
I think the most important thing in poetry and a lot of things is it's got a passion in it. That's what makes me interested in it, and that's what I think makes other people interested in it. And as long as you can understand where somebody's coming from, that's what I think I like.
Here we are in Hardy's study, rebuilt in the wonderful Dorset County Museum in Dorchester, and it's a thrilling place for anyone who loves Hardy to be, because in fact so many Hardy things have been joined together here. His wonderful selection of books, his own writings, nearly all of them.
How important is it that schools have Hardy as part of their syllabus still?
I think it's very important. If they don't, I think they're missing out on something that will give them a great deal of pleasure. And the reason why I particularly love the poems is that modern life is so hectic that, unlike the Victorians, we can't sit down and read a 700-page novel without great difficulty. But you can pick up this volume, which Larkin loved and said he was always discovering new things in it. You can pick up this and just read weathers. This is the weather the cuckoo likes, and off you go. And it takes 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and it's a lovely poem, very happy.
Do you think people realise how accessible Hardy's poetry can be?
I don't think they do. And that's why I very much hope that schools will continue to teach it, because if they don't, then they're losing something.
If when hearing that I have been stilled at last, they stand at the door, watching the full-starred heavens that winter sees, will this thought rise on those who will meet my face no more? He was one who had an eye for such mysteries. And will any say, when my bell of quittance is heard in the gloom, and a crossing breeze cuts a pause in its outrollings, till they rise again, as they were a new bell's boom. He hears it not now, but used to notice such things.
Claire Cottam has been looking at poetry all week. Let's move on to the weather. Poetry in motion, is it?
1st of March, you wouldn't think spring was on its way, would you? The weather gods definitely haven't got spring on their mind at the moment. A very wintry feel today. A cold north to northeast wind. We've had a fair amount of cloud, and we can also see a smattering of showers across the south, some mixtures of sleet and snow there. A light dusting turning up in some places as well. Those showers will gradually fade away from most places. By the end of the night, still one or two, I think, filtering into easternmost parts, but generally a dry night, and there will be some clear spells, the best of these coming along in the west, and it will turn chilly everywhere. Temperatures below freezing, so widespread air frost. The lowest values around -3 or -4 out to the west and up across northernmost parts as well. There will be some ice to scrape off the windscreen tomorrow morning, and untreated roads and pavements will have some patchy ice as well, so a bit of care required tonight and first thing tomorrow. We've had the remnants of a weather front in easternmost parts. It is pulling away, but we're not out of the woods yet, with another little weather front pushing southwards during tomorrow, and that will pep up the showers, and some of those, some quite heavy snow showers likely too. But to start off the day, a good deal of bright weather and some sunshine, a few wintry showers in the east, and they will develop more widely as the afternoon goes on. The further west you are, the least likely you are to see any wintriness. But further east, some quite widespread showers through the afternoon, and some accumulations likely in many places, a few centimetres possible, poor visibility and additional hazard. It's certainly going to be a cold feeling day, temperatures around 4 or 5. A reasonably settled day to come on Saturday, but it looks like it will turn rather wintry again for time on Sunday.
Thanks, Dorcas. One main headline here in the south: the foot and mouth crisis has now closed all Forestry Commission land. The first time such a measure has been taken. It means the shutters have come down on the new forest, with rangers patrolling to keep the public away. Now, how about this? Just a touch of spring. Not just a touch of spring. Aren't they beautiful? We're celebrating St David's Day, of course.
A day which has been marked by the Welsh Guards, currently based at Aldershot, of course. Prince Charles presented leeks to the troops, while the teenage soprano Charlotte Church serenaded at a special church service.
We leave you tonight with further proof that Wales truly is the land of song.
Nostar ikigyd.
Very good. Good night.
Good night.
All parts of the United Kingdom are now affected by the outbreak of foot and mouth disease, with confirmation of the first cases in Scotland and Northern Ireland. 6 new cases have been identified today, taking the total to 32. The fallout has increased. The dog show Crufts has been postponed. The Forestry Commission has closed its land, and nearly all National Trust sites are out of bounds. But Downing Street has played down suggestions that the English local elections in May might need to be delayed. Now, investigations into yesterday's rail crash in North Yorkshire, which killed 13 people, are focusing on how the Land Rover and trailer involved slid onto the track. And in the past half hour, the car driver's wife has dismissed today's speculation that he might have fallen asleep at the wheel.
Well, Gary's very traumatised and he's still suffering quite a bit of pain. He's unable to be here at the moment. He's more than willing to cooperate with the British Transport Police and answer any questions they have. He's been asked not to comment at this stage because of the ongoing investigation, but what he did say was his deepest sympathy goes out to the families of the dead and injured.
Well, Michael Burke will be here at 10 o'clock and Fiona will be here tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Thanks for watching this evening. Bye for now.
The foot and mouth crisis hits southern England as farmers try to seal up the countryside.
It's like having a gun held to your head. You know, we're just sort of waiting for the worst to happen.
We talk to the farmers who've seen it all before.
The fires were burning for about a fortnight.
A Southern Eye special reveals what you need to know to protect the rural south. Tonight at 7:30 on BBC Two.
Good evening. It's been a disappointingly cold start to March. Temperatures have been well below average, even in Cardiff, where we reached 7 degrees Celsius. And we'll keep the frosts over the snowfields through the coming weekend. It's not until next week, when we see some milder air starting to move its way northwards, that temperatures really start to lift. The signs of some milder air coming in from the near continent. And that's because we changed the wind direction. We pick up this much milder southwest wind. But for tonight, it's going to be another widespread and severe frost over the snowfields. It'll be icy after the showers, which will become confined to coastal areas, and they'll be around first thing tomorrow morning with the odd fog patch too. And like today, the main risk of some sharp showers really for central and eastern parts of England, a couple of centimetres in places, and perhaps more risk of snow showers for Northern Ireland and western Scotland as we go through into the afternoon, but in between some wintry sunshine, albeit pretty chilly wintry sunshine. And then an increased risk of snow for Northern Ireland and western Scotland come tomorrow night, and then for Saturday across mainland Scotland. But elsewhere, apart from a little bit of mist and fog, it should be a fairly quiet day with some wintry sunshine until late on, that is, because that's when we're expecting this area of low pressure to move its way east. We stay in the cold air, which means there is the risk of some substantial snowfall across the southern half of the British Isles. Some drier weather further north, but in the northwest, wet and windy. So yes, it stays cold, but we are concerned about the forecast for Sunday. We'll keep you in tuned.
The big day on BBC One's finally here, and this is what we got for you.
Who's thicker than a pair of cat's earrings?
First up in a one-off special, the EastEnders lock horns under Anne Robinson's ruthless gaze.
Got any educational qualifications?
I've got the 50-metre breaststroke.
Wendy, you're getting better. With age, Anne, like a lot of us.
Then at 7:40, we're off to the square for the wedding of the year.
Steve, please pick it up.
He's having an attack of the jitters, that's all.
And a night you'll always remember.
Me and Mel, just like that. I want you to go.
Then stay tuned as we return to the Emerald Isle with a new priest from down under.
How can anybody commit sin in a place like this?
It's the first time I've been patronised by a Kiwi today.
I'm not a Kiwi, I'm an Aussie.
In the brand new series of Vatican's Angel, then at 9:10.
Black and blue and I ache all over.
Footage exclusive to BBC One. In the unmissable story of a young woman who wowed the world, Ellen MacArthur is sailing through heaven and hell.
I'm just exhausted.
Bolt your door, don't leave your seat, don't even blink. This is the big day on BBC One.